Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Mateen Tariq. I belong to Tehsil Chakargarh, District Narawan. I have completed my initial education and O-levels from Lawrence College, Mary. Subsequently, I have done my A-levels from CAT College, Sanabdal. I have completed my degree of Bachelor's in Law with higher distinction from Lahore University of Management Sciences. I have also served as President of Law and Politics Society and worked as a research assistant for a law professor. In my humble capacity, I have also co-founded a student-run interfaith harmony project called RUN, wherein we visited the worship places of different minority communities. Apart from that, I have an interest in playing and watching cricket and in constitutional debates of post-colonial states. I'm an enrolled advocate of the lower courts of Punjab and currently I'm working in Lahore.
First of all, we want to ask you Islamiyat questions.
Sure, sir.
You know that it is a compulsory subject in CSS.
Yes, sir, I'm aware of that.
What is Hajr Aswad?
Sir, Hajr Aswad is the stone which is present in Makkah. It has a history related to Islam. It was the first monumental event in the life of Holy Prophet also, when there arose a situation that in the reconstruction of the Kaaba.
No, what is its present function? For what it is being used nowadays?
I am not aware of that, sir. I will read about it.
Okay, Khalid bin Walid.
So Khalid bin Walid was one of the greatest warriors in the history of Islam. He was given the title of Saifullah by the Holy Prophet.
Congress ministries.
So after the 1937 elections were won by the Congress, Congress took some steps. I'm not aware of the exact ministries, but they took some steps which resulted in the. Although Muslim League was already founded, but it resulted in it after in the.
Okay. Will you tell us something about the partition of Bengal?
The partition of Bengal happened in 1905. It was an administrative step taken because Bengal was an area large enough for the Britain to control it. However, its partition was it was annulled in 1909. It was Muslims were not in favor of the annulment of the partition because due to the annulment of the partition, the
when was annulment made?
1909, sir. If I'm 1909.
Who was Kamal Ataturk? And what was the impact of his policies on subcontinent?
Sir, Kamal Ataturk was a Turkish leader who, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire, took the lead and was the forefront of the building of the Turkish Empire. Ataturk's 6 principles have long.
No, the impact of his policies on subcontinent.
No, sir,
or his decision.
I'm not aware of that, sir.
चलो बेटा साथ ही हम बता भी देते हैं उसने खिलाफत खत्म कर दी थी
जी सर
हमारे यहाँ तरीके खिलाफत बड़ी उठी हुई थी ना
जी सर
आपको पता है पाकिस्तान मूवमेंट से पहले तो खिलाफत मूवमेंट आई थी
जी
मुसलमानों में जो पॉलिटिकल अवेकनिंग थी वो तो तरीके खिलाफत जो है
जी
उस पे थी एक जो 1857 वाली वार के बाद सबसे बड़ी अवेकनिंग तो इट वाज इन खिलाफत मूवमेंट एंड खिलाफत वाज डन अवे विद बाय दिस गाय अच्छा मुआहदा ताशकंद क्या है
So Tashkent agreement was entered into after the 1965 war. It was an agreement between India and Pakistan, which was mediated by the then USSR. It happened in Tashkent. It resulted in the halt of the war which started after the Operation Gibraltar, which was started by Pakistan.
Was Operation Gibraltar successful?
I don't think, sir, it was able to achieve its aim. Any such operation which is conducted to doing.
अच्छा शकरगढ़ क्या उसकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स हैं खास बात शकरगढ़ की क्या है मशहूर किस लिए
Sir, it is famous for 3 main reasons. First of all, that this Pakistan Standard Time is measured from Shakargarh, Bada Bhai Masroor. Secondly, it is also the resting place of the Guru of Sikhs. It is the final place of him. The Kartarpur also is in the Tehsil Shakargarh. And thirdly, it is area of line of control is also.
Okay, Man's Search of Meaning. ये आपने किताब का नाम लिखा इसका राइटर कौन है और इसका किताब का क्रक्स क्या है?
Sir, his writer is a Jewish psychiatrist, Viktor Frankl. He has written a story about his time in the concentration camp. The crux of the book is that the most important thing in one's life is to have a goal and purpose, and its goal and purpose can be defined through 3 different things. Firstly, by his work. Secondly, by his relations, and thirdly, by the difficulties which one is enduring through.
Have you interest in law?
Yes, sir, I have interest in law.
Who founded LUMS?
Sir, Sayyid Babar Ali.
When?
Sir, in 1984.
What were your optional subjects?
Sir, political science, constitutional law, British history, gender studies, journalism and mass communication.
When Magna Carta was passed?
Magna Carta was passed in 1209.
What type of people are in Britain? Protestants or Roman Catholic?
Currently, sir,
Currently and mostly.
sir, Protestants.
Okay. What do you know about Industrial Revolution?
Sir, Industrial Revolution was a result of colonization and the formation of the steam engine. It resulted in the.
Who invented steam engine?
Sir, I'm not. I cannot recall right.
James Watt, जिसके नाम पे power की unit भी है वो.
James Watt, yes.
Okay. So, do you know that Britain was the most successful colonialist country? It captured the United States and made 13 colonies over there.
Yes,
first of all. Can you name 10 colonies out of those 13 colonies?
I can name a few, sir. I think Georgia was one. Pennsylvania.
Okay. Definition of state as per Constitution of Pakistan.
The state has geographical boundary, which is defined in the constitution, and it has three main elements. It has a legislature, it has an executive, and it has a judiciary.
Okay. Difference between fundamental law and basic law.
Fundamental law is the law from where the basic rights originate. However, the basic law is something which is different from fundamental law in the aspect that it can be it falls under the fundamental law.
Sources of international law.
So there are two main sources of international law. One is the international treaties which the countries have entered into, and second is the jus cogens norms or the customary international law, which has been recognized by the international bodies and international courts after it has been practiced for a long time.
What is your stance on the situation that supremacy of law is hampered these days in Pakistan, and it has also defamed us?
Sir, I think the supremacy of the law has been hampered. We have 2 to 3 main events in the preceding years, which are a result of this. Firstly, although Article 224 of the Constitution states that elections have to be held within 90 days if the assembly has been dissolved prematurely, however, those 90 days limit has not been fulfilled. In the case of the Punjab and the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and secondly in the case of the dissolution of the federal government. Thirdly, the state has not been, although there has been a judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court by 4-3 bench that the elections have to be held, but they have not been held as per the required, and that judgment has attained finality. Secondly, the recent deportation of the Afghan refugees, I think strictly legally speaking, it is not in line with the international human rights law and the current domestic law. I think these are the two main.
How many articles in our constitution?
Sir, I think 286.
And how many amendments?
Sir, 26.
What was the last one?
Sir, the merger of FATA with KPK.
FATA stands for?
Federally Administered Tribal Areas.
Who was the first Chief Justice of Pakistan?
I am not aware of that.
Abdul Rashid.
Abdul Rashid, yes.
Okay. Apart from suo motu, any other terminology used for the rights of judge?
Rights of judge?
Specific right, privileges, what a judge can take without.
Sir, he is called the master of the roster, I think. It is one of the terms. Apart from that.
Compare the philosophies of Imam Ghazali and Ibn Khaldun.
I cannot recall it. Right.
What was John Locke's model?
So John Locke was one of the foremost libertarian philosophers. He advocated liberty and along with rights of women as his profound principle. He was the first one who presented a bill in the House of Commons which called for to grant right of vote to the women of England at that time.
How do you see that the relations of Pakistan with India?
Sir, currently Pakistan and India do not enjoy a good relation. Unfortunately, the Hindu ideology has been reinforced in the Indian foreign policy and in the Indian internal policy. So that is why India.
Who is the present High Commissioner of Pakistan in India?
I am not aware of that.
There is no High Commissioner at present. So we have no even embassy link. We have no proper setup that can initiate our dialogues or any peace process. So, okay. So, if we are to choose one friend out of these two growing powers, China and America, which one we should do?
Sir, I don't think the choice policy has worked in our
favor. If there is any choice, then what do you recommend as an analyst or as a student of law, as a bureaucrat? What do you recommend?
So I think if it is the last resort, Pakistan should head towards China. There are two reasons for it. Firstly, it is, as you have already said, it is a growing superpower. But secondly, and most importantly, it enjoys a great power in our region. So we have to, since we have shifted towards a geo-economic foreign policy, China is something which can help us in our geo-economic.
Who is present Chinese Prime Minister or head?
Xi Jinping, if I can pronounce correctly.
What is the budget of CPEC?
No, sir, I cannot.
What is your stance on present Israel and Palestine conflict, and what do you think? What is the possible solution? And also highlight the importance of Temple of Solomon. First, discuss the current statistics. What has happened? What's happening going on? What is?
Sir, on October 7, Hamas launched an attack in Israel. They entered into Israel and an attack was launched on them. Subsequently, Israel launched an airstrikes, and subsequently they have also moved. They have also done a land invasion into the.
What is your stance on this? What do you think that OIC or Pakistan role, how it can be established? And
Sir, unfortunately, OIC or Muslim countries have not been able to put a strong and coherent stance against the Israel. Of the many Muslim countries, Kuwait and Qatar have been at the forefront. Turkey has even called their ambassador back. However, in contrast to this, other Muslim countries like UAE or Saudi Arabia have not been able to put towards a strong, cogent response to this. OIC, which comprises of more than 55 Muslim countries, have only put out a statement which is also not in line with exactly in line with the international principles which govern the conflict between the.
what should be done to get the solution of it or appease the situation?
Sir, in the short term, the ceasefire has to be extended. It has not been extended for one more day. So the ceasefire will ensure that the humanitarian aid can move to in Gaza, which is currently suffering from the greatest human catastrophe of this century. And in the long term, I think the feasible and the practical solution is a two-state solution. This is something which can serve the interests of both Israel and the Palestine, and at the same time at the large.
As a student of international law, what do you think that what articles of UN resolutions were violated in this anti-human activity?
So I can recall Article 47 and 53, which relates to the self-defense. Israel has treated it as a self-defense, but under the International Treaty of Genocide and Prevention of Crimes Against Humanity, self-defense is not applicable when a state is under occupation. And if we take the word-by-word definition of occupation, the current state of Gaza and the current Israel's position, it is fully 100% deals within the definition of occupation, that there has been eminent control of the land of the Palestinians by the Israelis. So,
difference between genocide and homicide.
So genocide is something, according to the international agreed definition, genocide is the cleansing of the humans, either on the ethnic basis, religious basis, cultural basis. Homicide is a term which is used in the police work mostly. It relates to the murder or
indiscriminate killing.
Indiscriminate killing.
And that is also when it is on large scale called massacre.
Massacre, yes.
ठीक है? Okay.